They foraged scrow sustenance and constructed makeshift homes in the Alaskan tundra. Yet, unseen by the public, the Brown family of Alaskan Bush People weathered unexpected storms. They have overcome cancer, terrible fires, painful divorces, and catastrophic loss since the reality show began airing in 2014. But they also forged new ways like starting enterprises, having kids, and reimagining themselves away from the woods in the spirit of the Bush People. After filming ceased, what transpired? What happened to them by the year 2025? Come with us as we investigate the fate of the Alaskan Bush People ensemble. Brown Billy. As the husband and father of all 7 children, Billy Brown was the main character of Alaskan Bush People. In Fort Worth, Texas, he entered this world on December 3, 1952. His life took a tragic turn when, at the tender age of 16, he and his sister were killed in an airplane disaster. Billy had to learn to survive on his own after being left without a parent. He learned to rely on himself and developed survival skills as a result of these events. Amy Martin was his wife afterward. They started their lives together when she was only 15 years old. Plus, they had 7 children throughout the years. The Browns visited the homes of millions of Alaskan Bush People in 2014 thanks to Discovery Channel. Billy, who championed independence, rose to prominence as the show's magnetic leader. His children learnt how to construct shelters, fish and hunt, among other skills, on their own, without the need for an electrical infrastructure. The impact on Billy's health was significant, notwithstanding his admirable interest in the outdoors. His health deteriorated as a result of his struggles with severe respiratory and cardiac conditions. Billy, who was 68 years old when he died on February 7, 2021, had a deadly seizure in their Washington homestead. The series came to a tragic end with his untimely demise, which shocked both his loved ones and viewers. The people of the Alaskan bush were never the same after Billy died. It was tough to go on, so in 2022, during season 14, viewers watched as the kids tried to carry on their dad's dream. The series ended subtly, with fans generally viewing the last season as the series' unofficial finale. However, Amy, his wife, disappeared. Following Billy came the pivotal figure in Alaskan Bush People, Amy Brown. Brown was a wife and mother of 7 children. She joined the Brown family as its unwavering matriarch on August 28, 1963. Stage 3 non-small cell lung cancer was her diagnosis in April 2017, and doctors gave her a 3% chance of survival. Her children were concerned about her prognosis, but she endured radiation and chemotherapy and came out on the other side with an impressive recovery. She was pronounced cancer-free by December of that year. Following this, their family left rural Alaska for the state of Washington in search of better medical treatment. The show's dynamic became to revolve around Amy's steady attitude and resiliency. As the years went by, she was there for the family through thick and thin, providing moral support and sound advice in times of health crises and inheritance disputes. Amy was sent to the emergency room in the middle of February 2025 when she had terrible chest discomfort and trouble breathing. She was transferred to a bigger medical facility, administered medication to alleviate pneumonia, and put into a medically induced coma. Her lungs are in bad shape, say Snowbird and Bear Brown. Late in February, Bear shared the good news that Amy had made a full recovery and was discharged from the intensive care unit. Bear quickly posted a video of Amy recovering at home with her kids by her side and oxygen tanks hooked up. Following Billy's death, Amy took over as executor of the family estate. She has managed assets such as cattle and collectibles and was embroiled in a $500,000 0 cents lawsuit filed by a business associate. She has also been actively pursuing autonomy, accomplishing goals such as obtaining a driver's license. She has always been there for her kids, beginning with Matt Brown. This is Matt Brown. Although he appeared steady throughout the length of the show, Matt Brown The most famous of the Brown siblings battled alcoholism in later seasons. His 2019 exit from the show and subsequent admission to rehab marked the beginning of his road to rehabilitation, stemming from this. Matt had a tough time of it from 2018 to 2020. Allegations of beginning drug usage and financial misconduct were made public by him through the use of family resources and claimed that Billy had withheld funds from him. In 2018, 2 women also accused him. The Los Angeles Police Department did investigate these allegations, however, they did not bring charges. Matt has now settled into a more rustic, rural lifestyle in the North Cascades, close to the family's old Washington state property. He is employed by a farm, engages in beekeeping, hiking, sketching, and various other artistic pursuits. On occasion, he goes on solitary camping trips to Chupaca Mountain or spends the winter in harsh wilderness, documenting his experiences and offering advice on how to survive on his YouTube channel. Addiction recovery is something that Matt has also taken a stand for. On Instagram, he shares observations on mental health, achievements in sobriety, and words of support. Video sharing website YouTube Pod, in addition to staying sober over the years, he frequently publicly celebrates sobriety anniversaries. Matt maintains a cold relationship with his immediate family, even though he lives in close proximity to them. Matt does his own thing and they don't see him much, according to Bear, who corroborated the ongoing tensions. Even if he is still due money from the show's earnings, at least he has reconciled financially to some degree. Unlike his next-door sibling, Bam Bam Brown, who made a triumphant return in 2019, Matt is highly unlikely to make an appearance on the show again. The following Brown brother, Joshua Bam Bam, was likewise a reserved realist and do-gooder. For the Browns, maintaining their independent way of life depended heavily on him. His 2017 departure to pursue a romance with producer Alison Kagan was followed by a brief 2019 return before he finally left the show permanently. Green technology became Bam Bam's new priority by January 2020. He reportedly started a company that combines his knowledge of the outdoors with cutting-edge technology to provide sustainable living solutions. The year 2022 was a tough one for Bam Bam. While he was a passenger in a terrifying Washington State highway collision, tragically, the passenger in the camera was killed. As he skillfully avoided a collision while operating a GMC, he managed to escape with just minor wounds. By 2025, Bam Bam had finished adapting his father's memoir, One Wave at a Time, into an audiobook, paying tribute to his memory. In addition to this, he has been actively participating in photographic initiatives since 2019, with a focus on social media-based nature and landscape photography. In Charleston, he and Alison resided on a boat or yacht. Bam Bam isn't very active on social media, but every so often he'll break his quiet to thank his fans and reiterate the values of his father: family, faith, and freedom. Even though he keeps a low profile, his private life is nevertheless well-organized and scandal-free. As the third child of the Brown family, Bear Brown has provided us with a wealth of first-hand knowledge about the Alaskan Bush people and their culture. Brown Bear, the show's viewers were particularly captivated by Solomon Bear Brown's daring nature and impressive survival abilities. From a daredevil in the bush to a devoted father, he transformed. In 2021, he moved from Alaska to Washington when the show ended. He wed Raven Brown, and the two of them shared parenting duties for their 3 young sons, Everest, Cove, and River. Bear has been saving enough to buy land so he can return to Alaska someday. In June 2023, he and his family moved into a rental house in Washington beside his brother Gabe's family. Additionally, he has been using the proceeds from the sale of items and comics, turning it into a mobile home, the next generation of Alaskan Bush People, and Behind the Scenes with Bear Brown. 2 spin-off projects that were teased have not been launched as of yet. In keeping with his transition away from network television and into personal platforms, he has been posting teaser segments of past episodes, narrated thoughts, and updates on ranch life and family excursions on social media. There have been plenty of scandals involving Bear Brown because he is one of the most famous Brown siblings. Despite the announcement of their split in 2025, Bear and Raven clarified that it had been amicable and that they planned to rear their children together amicably. A plea bargain and reunion with Raven ended his domestic violence case, which had him facing a misdemeanor charge as well. Currently, Bear is firmly established in Washington, where he is co-parenting and pursuing personal media projects. It is quite unlikely that these will be shared through Discovery, but rather on his own. He is still very much devoted to his family life, content development and property purchase, although it is uncertain when the official repatriation of the Alaskan Bush People will take place. Efforts to spin off the bears and alter their lifestyle have not lost their charm with the Wolfpack community. Gabrielle Brown follows in the siblings' footsteps and distinguishes out from the rest due to his developing flair. Like several of his siblings, Gabrielle Brown wed Raquel Rose Pantella in 2019 after departing the Alaskan Bush People show. He currently resides in Washington with his wife and 2 kids, with the announcement of a second child set for late 2024. They just relocated from their mountain home to a rented house that better suits their daughters. Working in construction and homesteading, Gabe combines tough expertise with creativity. He also pursues artistic activities like music and portrait drawing. Fans went wild after he posted an original acoustic tune to Instagram not long ago. Gabe has been taking a break from filming in the woods on a full-time basis since season 8, yet living off-grid is still a part of his life. He may have closed up his involvement with the show, but he still wanted to thank the creators in a post. His admirers have noticed a difference in his hairstyle as well, seeing him sporting sideburns and eyeliner, playing his individuality apart from his familial image. Even though Gabe had surgery earlier in 2025, he assured his fans online that he was doing fine. He had a good attitude, expressing appreciation and excitement about getting back to work on the homestead. The emotional toll of social media is real, and Gabe has spoken frankly about it. Feeling let down by personal ties, he pondered quitting platforms, but fans' support persuaded him to keep sharing. Gabe is currently rooted in Washington, tending to his expanding family while juggling construction, homesteading, and artistic endeavors. He has reduced the number of times he appears on television, but he is still very much involved in his daughters' lives through his art, music, and internet photos. The name is Noah Brown. In 2018, Noah D.C. Brown tied the knot with Rain, and the newlyweds have since taken up sustainable lifestyle practices like growing their own food and keeping cattle on their property in Washington. Along with parenting their boys, Elijah and Adam, they provide insights about off-grid life on a YouTube and social media page. After a devastating wildfire in 2020 damaged their mountain property, the family had to make the difficult decision to rent a new house. Gradually, they are re-establishing themselves and establishing roots in their neighborhood. However, in 2025, Noah and Rain startled fans by openly announcing their split on TikTok. Noah took up residence in their guest cabin, but he continued to visit their children on weekends. When it comes to raising their children, they prioritize a cooperative approach, as well as lessening the effect on them. Noah and Rain sought a restraining order against Rain, his sister, in early 2024 on grounds of abuse and threats. In the woods, close to Rain's rental house, Noah maintains his guest cottage. According to reports, he has hired a divorce counsel, is actively courting new supporters, and is ready to relinquish the main residence to Rain if necessary. Fans have been worried about Noah's money and the welfare of his children, and he recently addressed their worries, drawing both praise and criticism. Finally, there's Snowbird. the other Brown relative who battled cancer. During the 2022 premiere of season 14, Snowbird Bird Brown revealed that she had 2 ovarian tumours, much to the disappointment of her followers. Thankfully, the tumours were not malignant and were successfully removed during the emergency operation. She continues to monitor the recurrence rate with routine testing and blood work every few months, as physicians have warned that there is an up to 80% risk of it happening. Snowbird had hoped for a more painless recuperation after the operation. Minor problems such as cysts and fluid accumulation surrounding scar tissue were encountered, but after she got better, she was able to get back to her regular schedule, which included things like housework and cat care. Launching her YouTube channel, Birds of a Feather, in 2025, Snowbird embraced entrepreneurship and shared her off-grid lifestyle online. She sold handmade dream catchers, jewellery and candles through her Etsy site, Snowbird Craft. Even while she doesn't post as much as her siblings do, she's still quite active on Instagram, TikTok and Threads, particularly during TikTok live sessions. She clearly identifies as a nature lover and cat woman, and she regularly posts updates on her kitties, wildlife films, baking moments and nature photos. While her mother, Amy, was sick, Snowbird was there to help take care of her and be a steadying presence in the family. Even her eldest brother, Matt, has cut ties with her. Rain Brown rounds out the cast of Alaskan Bush People, a brown Rain. Since the show's conclusion in 2022, Rain has grown into a strong young adult. She took a break from social media when her father passed away so she could concentrate on her mental health. When she did return, she shared thoughts and photos inspired by nature, promoting healing and self-compassion. Even though she no longer resides at the main Brown homestead, Rain continues to record ranch life at North Star Ranch in Washington. She finds satisfaction in writing, singing and crafts simultaneously. When it comes to her battles with sadness and loss, Rain has been very candid. She looked for expert help after 2020. On Instagram, where she frequently posts encouraging comments that encourage her followers to accept themselves, achieve inner peace and get help when they need it. Beginning their romance in late 2023, she announced their engagement in January 2024 and they were married in January 2025. Josiah Lawton was a chef. Though some of her siblings, including Bear, were unable to attend the nuptials, Rain nonetheless took to social media to express her joy for the happy couple. Josiah and Rain were taken into custody in Okanagan, Washington on April 11th, 2025 on suspicion of trespassing, criminal mischief and first-degree burglary. While plea discussions continued, they were subsequently freed on their own recognizance. Ranch life is fun for Rain Brown, who brings back memories of the Alaskan Bush People show's tough difficulties for viewers. Difficulties inherent to the great outdoors as they braved the sub-40 Fahrenheit weather, thick snowfall and howling winds of Alaska. The Browns became known as the Wolf Pack for their off-the-grid way of living. Using local wood, moss and hides, they skillfully constructed insulated dwellings, lean-tos, snow caves and log cabins. Bears, wolves and moose are all around, so you have to be extra careful. In order to protect themselves from bears, they learned how to store food, monitor animals and use defensive methods including making noise. In addition, they relied on archery and rifle hunting, fishing in rivers and ice, and foraging for berries, mushrooms and wild greens to sustain themselves. Their use of solar panels, wood-fired stoves and rainwater collection systems required creativity to survive off the grid. They built compost toilets, filtered water and saved energy. Isolation tested the family's navigational, landmark, star and star-based capabilities, as well as their ability to create fires in wet environments, as well as their first aid, tool repair and improvisational abilities. Some controversy persisted despite the show's thrilling and nerve-wracking nature. Divided opinions. Resident status and allegations of fraud were at the center of a heated dispute. Billy Brown and one other admitted in 2015 to receiving more than $20,000, 0 cents, in a permanent fund payout from Alaska by falsely claiming to be residents of the state. Along with a fine, Billy and Joshua were sentenced to 30 days in prison. Some have said this detracts from the show's portrayal of sustainable, off-the-grid life. Worse yet, there were many who claimed the scenes with the Alaskan Bush People were staged. It is said that crews built Brown Town while the family remained in nearby hotels. There were some who said they had faked animal encounters and made up crises to make the show more dramatic. Land and filming sparked additional legal difficulties. Accusations surfaced of filming cabins on public land and potential violations of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. The effects of the production sparked local outrage and environmental concerns. The family court fights also must not be overlooked. According to NOAA's Welfare Concern report from 2025, Amy and Rain were accused of having substance concerns. Rain and her husband were both arrested at about the same time on burglary charges and allegations of stealing from the family. The negative publicity was further exacerbated by cases connected to Billy's estate. The Alaskan Bush People overcame obstacles and grew stronger despite the conflicts. Relocation, pause, and spin-offs. The year 2017 marked one of their watershed moments. As a result of Amy's lung cancer treatment, the Brown family relocated from rural Alaska to the state of Washington. Amy, did either of us ever say to you, from harsh wilderness survival to ranching, homesteading, and family dynamics, it was a huge change. Nothing has been shown on the network since season 14 aired in December 2023. Even though the show isn't officially cancelled, Discovery has put it on hold. This is likely due to the $500,000 0 cents lawsuit concerning Billy Brown's inheritance